Hey everyone, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life here for a special layout for Off the Board. And this is the series that Crystal from Pineapple Papers is doing this month. She's doing a video a day. And the whole point is that you get those layouts that you have saved on your Pinterest board and scrap lift them. So I am going to work with this particular one from an Elle Studios design team. Melissa Mann has created this one, and it has been on my Pinterest board waiting to be scrap lifted for quite a while. I really love it. However, I haven't used it yet though. Don't have a silhouette, right? So I'm showing you how I did this because I do have the portrait now. I was able to get it from Daisy because she got to upgrade, but I don't have it all set up yet. And so I'm still doing things the old-fashioned way, and I'm simply just going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to cut up all these holes and make them into hearts, and it works just fine. It does take a minute. It takes longer than it probably does if you have the silhouette and you can get it to work. But you know what? I don't mind. And this is actually the part of paper crafting I really love, is to go ahead and get my hands dirty, so to speak, and really dig into a layout like this. I am also cutting this with out of watercolor paper cardstock because I have plans to do watercolored on it, like you can see in the layout. And these are the two photos I'm going to be using today. They are of my little baby bear, and this was back when he had just learned to kind of be on his tummy and lift his head up and kind of just be happy being on his tummy. He will sleep on his stomach. He is a stomach sleeper, even though I know you're not supposed to. He refuses. It's the only way he'll sleep. And so he's had a pretty strong neck for a really long time. But at this point, this was just him kind of learning to put his head up and all of that. And now he's just rolling all over the place. So it's crazy how quickly it can all change. Now, to do my watercolors, I am pulling out these Jane Davenport. No, these are the Vicki Boutin, right? Vicki Boutin ones, yes. And these are the watercolors I received in my June Secret Not Secret kit. I really love the way that the top one turns out, and that I do in a teal, and I really am okay with the way the blue one turns out. However, the yellow one that I did, I didn't like it, so I tried to dull it down with some orange and I think a red, and I hated it even more. So I come up with the idea of just using the beautiful pattern paper I'm going to pull in and cover it up with pattern paper instead, which throws off the layout because now I don't have 3 watercolor places, and it did kind of throw me for a loop. So that is partly why this layout is going up so late on the 5th. I have been working on it off and on. I was working on it yesterday, and then I've been working on it off and on kind of all day today, trying to really make sure that I've got this in the right way. And then, of course, when you have a layout due, what's the best thing to do during that time? Stitch. Why not stitch on your layout? That makes perfect sense, right? So you are going to see some stitching appear on this as well. But I did have fun. I fill in all of the little hearts there, and I really wanted to do a shaker pocket with this because it was kind of sort of screaming at me that one of these hearts needed to be a shaker pocket. So of course I am going to eventually go through and my Spiegel Mom scrap sequence, and I pull out an older one, like a collection that I mix that I think is one of the very first ones I ever received from Jody, and I am going to use it because the colors just match perfectly to create a shaker pocket. Oh my goodness, my words are all over the place. So before I do that though, let's backtrack to what I was talking about with the yellow. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and just cut it. These are 4x4 squares, so I trimmed it just a little bit less than 4x4 so it kind of fit in there. So eventually, if I feel like pulling out my sewing machine, I can go back and stitch in white, which is what the original layout has, and do that final effect if I so choose. We will see if that happens or not. I'm not sure that I'm going to be that motivated to do that, but you never know. I might get there. I just might. And then in order to recreate the heart, I just simply traced it with a pencil, took my scissors and just cut out the heart. It was no big deal. I lined it up, I glued it all down, and it was just like I never had watercolored that ugly color there, so worked just fine. Some of the pattern papers were a little bit of a mess, which is why I decided to do the sequin shaker pocket in this bottom corner, is because that particular square had gotten a little messed up with watercolor to begin with, so putting a fresh sheet of white cardstock on it worked really well. And I'm just showing you how I am doing it the easy way. Sometimes I do not feel like pulling out my fuse or stitching and making it all work, so sometimes, especially when you know you're going to be popping it up on some fun foam to make some dimension, the easiest thing to do is use a piece of packaging that already has the corner cut into it, and then some really good double-sided tape that you know isn't going to go off once you get it down, and just simply tape it closed. That's what I did with this, and it worked perfectly. I did have to go back and use a little bit of thinner tape to make it work so it didn't appear in the in the actual window, but all was good once I got that done. So there you have that part, and then you're just going to watch me kind of fill in the rest of it. I kind of jump around with this layout and filming it because, again, I was doing this kind of throughout the day, and you don't need to see me fill every single heart. Once you see me kind of do one, you get the idea, so I didn't feel like you needed to watch me do all of them. It kind of gets a little boring. But let me go ahead and do the little plug for Crystal now. She is on, day 5. She's done 5 already, and she is doing a video a day this month in July. She's being awesome, and I know how hard that is because I do 30 days of sketches, so I know how hard this is for her, but she's rocking through it and picking some beautiful layouts to scrapbook. I have really loved watching this series, and if you decide to play along, use her hashtag. It is hashtag OB off the board. OTB, no. Yeah, OTB WPP, I believe. That is the hashtag because it's off the board with Pineapple Papers. So use that hashtag and make sure that you give her some love for doing all this hard work, and for us to be able to have something to watch every day this month. That's always fun, knowing you have someone to go hang out and watch. I absolutely love Crystal. Her layouts and her videos are some of my favorite. Her voice is very soothing. She's got one of those very soothing YouTube voices, so I really enjoy watching her videos. I tend to put them on either first thing in the morning or right before I go to bed, because they're not, her volume's always the same. It doesn't change in volume, which is nice, and I love to watch her. So make sure you go and give her some love and watch her videos. And to wrap up my layout, I'm just going to go ahead and add just the little bit of embellishing here and there that I wanted to do. I am tying this in with a team challenge from last weekend's scrap party, where we kind of had to I had to look at my team's favorite layouts, and incorporate them. So that's where the watercolor is coming in, and the wood grain effect, the animals, the way I clustered on a diagonal, and I believe the hearts. The hearts, even though I'm scrap lifting, the hearts were inspired, and is why I picked this particular scrap lift. So if you are a part of that group, you can head on over there and see how that all came together as well. And eventually I will probably do some journaling in that middle heart there. It's not much to say. It's just a milestone for him. This will probably be his 3-month little thing to put in his album. So I really love it. I know I haven't scrapped a lot of him, so it's nice to have another layout of Barrett done, and I really love the finished look. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to head on over and check out Crystal, and I'll see everyone soon with another layout. Bye!